Eamon Javers joins us from Washington. I thought you might be across the pond.
Yeah,
Eamon.
I thought I might be too, but I'm here in Washington this morning, Joe. And the president is in London, as you say, where he made those comments. The president talking to reporters there and suggesting that there might not be a trade deal at all this year. Here's what he said.
The China trade deal is dependent on one thing. Do I want to make it? I have no deadline, no. In some ways, I think it's better to wait till after the election. You want to know the truth? I think in some ways it's better to wait till after the election with China. But I'm not going to say that. I just think that. I just tell you.
So the president saying in some ways he thinks it might be better to wait until after the election in November of 2020 for a China trade deal. He suggested in the past, Joe, that he's frustrated with the Chinese. He thinks they are slow walking the deal to get to after the election. Now the president's saying he also may want to wait until after the election. You know, I asked the president yesterday about all of this and whether or not signing that Hong Kong bill was making it more difficult to get to a trade deal with the Chinese. The president said it doesn't make it any better, but we'll see what happens. You know, I also asked Kellyanne Conway, the president's advisor at the White House yesterday, if the president had made a mistake by announcing the so-called Phase 1 deal back in October when he did and announced it was all but complete and simply needed to be finalized and papered, as they say. Kellyanne Conway said no, the president didn't make a mistake in doing that, and that was the right way to proceed with this. And she said that he didn't put himself in a bad negotiating position by announcing that the deal was all but complete before it was actually inked on paper. The president said back in October there would be a signing ceremony with himself and President Xi Jinping. Not clear now when necessarily that would happen, and also not clear whether the president's comments here reflect some underlying breakdown in the trade talks themselves or just an indication that he's not sure where this is going to land and wants to hold out the possibility to the American people that it might not happen soon, guys.
Hey, Eamon, it's December 3rd today. We are just 12 days away from that December 15th deadline. What do you hear, what do you think will happen when we get to December 15th? Will those additional tariffs actually get put on?
I mean, watch this space, right? I mean, we don't know. You can imagine that if the president is frustrated, that he might go forward with those tariffs, but all of the political incentives are the other way. That last tranche of tariffs is a tranche that will hit a lot of consumer goods and could have some political ramifications. There are advisors around the president who are suggesting that he better get a deal of some kind before November 2020 and before this election cycle really heats up. So there's some question about the timing. Would he announce some suspension of that or would he simply announce he's not going forward with that? We just don't know. Politically, that would be his incentive, but the president takes these things personally as well as politically. And then, of course, he has said that what he's looking for here is a total rearrangement of the trade relationship between the United States and China, and that, he has said, is more important to him than the politics of it.